Hello, everybody. My name is Zanele Mnguni. I am introducing to you the new podcast called Self-Reacquaintance. And it means just that, to reconnect to self, to get to know yourself again. And that's why we are starting. They say start. Starting something new, especially when it's tied to your dreams, is both exhilarating and terrifying. But God has been telling me to start for a couple of years now, and I've had all kinds of reasons and excuses why I wasn't starting. And I pretended as if God doesn't know these reasons. For example, I would say things like, but God, I struggle with language generally. I struggle with spoken word language, whether it is in English, whether it is in vernac. What if I'm not able to express myself in a way that I want to express myself? What if I'm not able to deliver the messages that I want to communicate in a way that I want, an excuse? Or I would say things like, God, I don't like listening to my voice. I record myself, and when I listen to myself, I'm just not liking it. And then I ask myself again, Zanele, do you want to show up as your authentic self with your whatever voice, or which version of Zanele do you want to show up as, Another excuse, maybe the last one, because I've got plenty, is that, but God, I don't think I've healed enough to start talking. I don't want to speak prematurely or speak and bleed on people. Instead, I want, when the time comes for me to open my mouth and start speaking, I want to build, I want to encourage, I want to inspire. I do not want to harm your people by speaking before time, But I am learning that the first step that you take, no matter how small, is very powerful. God has been making sure that He shows me or brings people or messages that tell me to start continuously. Just saying start. I've been finding myself listening to women that inspire me. And one speaker recently said something so profound. She said, for me to cross the finish line, I must first start the race. Obvious, isn't it? And I had my aha moment, because this is true, profound, and she's right. All of us want to get to the finish line. I'd like to believe all of us want to get to the finish line, but it is not all of us who are willing to start the race or put in the work to start the race. And the point is, there's no way of getting to the finish line if you have not started with your race. Therefore, you need to essentially start the race, make your way towards the finish line. How or when you get to the finish line, God will decide. But what you need to do is to start when God says start, And I liked that because starting is an act of courage, a declaration that you are willing to step out of your comfort zone and into the possibilities that lie ahead. To take that first step requires trust, and not just trust in your own abilities, but in something greater than yourself. And I'm believing in that great thing in me. I've done fairly well in my life, I'd like to believe, and I am content with what I've been able to achieve so far. However, there's been, for the longest of time, a need or this deep void to do something else, to do something more, much more impactful. But I've been in the state of paralysis where I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't move, I think about all these things that I need to do. God shows me where to go to get the information I need to start. And I get this information, I jot it down, I write it down, all these ideas. But then I close my book and continue about my day as if nothing happened. Because I just couldn't get myself to start. But I am finally starting. I have been passionate about women. Therefore, I've known for a while that whatever it is I needed to start has to do with women. So it's going to be a conversations about women and for women by women, It's going to be issues relating to women, how we are mothers. For example, how we are mothers without having physically given birth, how we are nurturers, how we are creators and builders of homes and givers of life, how we have so much more to offer, how we take on so much load and we are able to carry it with so much grace, how we have these superpowers, man, and we have been given this unique intuitiveness that helps us navigate all aspects of life, and not just for ourselves, but for those around us as well. Therefore, we are going to start. I am finally yielding to God's voice will for me. Those who know me, will tell you I like having control of situations. I like having control, and it is so difficult to let go and surrender this power and control I think I have. I know in my heart that I must surrender, but it is hard to actually do it, How my mind is wired is that I need to always know what the next step is going to be, how I am going to get there, how things are going to unfold, who needs to be there, which tools do I need to make it happen and to make it happen successfully, so on and so forth. I need to always have a plan. And I think the reason why I hold on to this power and control is because having a clear plan has always worked for me. It works for me. And that is why it's not easy for me to step into the unknown and do things that I don't know how they are going to unfold, But this podcast is that first step that I'm taking, and I am I'm being obedient to God, and it is not clear how it is going to happen. For example, whether the podcast is short-lived, I don't know, but I will accept it. If that happens, if it ends, whether it evolves and becomes something much more bigger, I'll accept that. And, whatever happens, I'll accept it the way it is. I believe it will be the way it is supposed to happen. And most importantly, I believe that the podcast is just going to be but a door through which many other things are going to be released, many other things are going to be birthed and to be unleashed. Like I said, I want a plan, but how I'm going to do this podcast is still a blur. It is still a blur. It is not yet clear. God has been talking, like I've said earlier, and I've written almost all of it down, but I'm no longer prepared to be the reason why there's a delay in God's move in my life. God has placed so many other things in my heart, spirit, mind, and soul. And some are very clear. I know where I'm going. I know how things are going to pan out. But there are others where I'm just leaning on God completely because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's happening even now. But it's happening. I believe that often the dreams that burn within us are there because they've been placed by God Himself. He knows the path even when we cannot see it. By surrendering to His guidance, we find the courage to move forward, knowing that He will light the way. This doesn't mean that the journey will be easy. I'm not expecting it to be, but I am assured that God has already provided and equipped me with everything I need to embark on this new journey. And He will be working with me because I know I've never been alone. I'm not alone now, and I'm not going to be alone in this journey. I am starting this new podcast, and as I navigate this new space, I will remain open to learning and growth. I know it's not going to be a straight path. There will be twists and turns, moments of doubt like now, and unexpected challenges, but these are moments that will shape me. And I'm leaning on God completely, Another reason why the podcast has to be started now is because I think I want to encourage someone who may be saying, I'm not starting because there are already so many women who are speaking on issues relating to women or issues that I wanted to speak on. The space is just too congested. I want to assure you now, the space is not congested. There is enough room for all of us. There are many billions of people in this world, and you will reach the people that you are supposed to reach, your community, people that you have been called for. There is a group of people that are waiting to be reached by you, and they are waiting for you to start. Therefore, you need to do just that, to start. This is nerve-wracking. I am so nervous, and whatever mistake you're going to hear now, because it's my third take, I'm not going to edit them out. They will stay as a reminder of how we started for our first podcast episode, and please accept them as they are, and we will grow and improve in how we articulate or speak, we will grow, and we will grow together. It is a journey. But I'm saying, just start wherever you are with whatever you have. Just go ahead and start. Whether it is a book, whether it is a podcast, or you want to start speaking, singing, whatever it is, you need to start. Just go for it. The world is waiting for you. The podcast itself is called Self-Reacquaintance, and it means to reconnect with ourselves, to rediscover ourselves, because as women, we have so many cares. Our minds are inundated with so many things we need to do or to be to take care of everyone that we end up neglecting ourselves. Our minds are flooded, and we've forgotten who we are, what makes us tick, what we like, and so on and so forth. Now, this space is about reconnecting with ourselves, getting to know ourselves again. I recently spoke at a church. I was invited to speak at a ladies' meeting and just give a message of encouragement. And my topic was being reintroduced to herself. And I think that's what it is. That is what is framing the whole podcast. This is something that has been on my mind. And the podcast is framed around discovering the pieces of ourselves that we lost along the way, to remind ourselves that honestly, we cannot pour from empty cups. We need to fill our cups with what God wants us to fill our cups and we cannot pour from empty cups. So we are going to fill our cups. We are going back to finding ourselves, and not only that, we are improving ourselves, we are developing ourselves so that we are able to show up in this world in a way that is more impactful, in a way that changes or improves our environments for the better, in a way that is going to improve the world so that our kids grow up in a world that does not have so many challenges. They will have their own, but they will be equipped with the relevant tools to navigate through life's challenges, because they would have learned that from us as women who have their cups filled with positivity. I am hoping to connect with a community of a diverse but like-minded women who are saying, I've been there. I've lost myself at some point, and I had to go and fetch myself. I'm interested to know how or when did you realize that you lost yourself? What transpired for you to lose yourself? Which tools did you employ to rediscover or reconnect with yourself? And when you triumphed, how did that look like for you? And how does it feel like now to be on the other side? And I'm also looking forward to women who are saying, actually, I'm realizing now that I've been surviving all this time. I've been on a survival mode and I am therefore not thriving. I'm not living. I'm just surviving. But I want to go back to finding myself so that I'm able to live and thrive in a way that God intended for me to thrive, I want us to connect and share insights, experiences of how this life has been for us. What happened? What were the turning points? Where do you think it all happened? Where did you lose which part of you? And which pieces of yourself are you fetching? All those things. I'm just hoping to connect with my community, people that I have been called for. And this is nerve-wracking, like I said. It is so nerve-wracking, but I am so glad that we are in 2024 where I can just sit in my own living room alone and start speaking into my gadget without the pressure of people looking at me and judging me, or me feeling like I'm being judged, because sometimes you're not being judged. It's just how your mind is thinking. But Oksalayo, nerves and all, we are starting. I don't have a clear plan. I am being obedient and allowing God to lead. I know clarity will come along the way. I don't know when, but I'm leaning on God again. God will guide. And for now, I will be releasing new episodes every Saturday at 6 p.m. And I'm inviting you to connect with me on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Instagram, all under the same name, Self-Reacquaintance Podcast. Actually, the Instagram page I started earlier in the year because this thing has been in my heart a while ago. So I decided earlier in the year to start this page, and I started posting and then I stopped. But I'm going back to start posting even on the so please connect, please follow, please like, please engage as we share, as we grow together, as we learn from each other, as we hold each other accountable, as we carry each other in prayer, and so on and so forth. Please join. But lastly, ultimately, taking that first step is about embracing the unknown with faith and courage. It's about trusting that God has called you to do this and go on this path for a reason, and He will see you through. God promises that He will see you through. Until we meet again next week, Saturday, please enjoy, be safe, be kept in the name of Jesus. Enjoy. Bye.